What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of live Q&A session with Mandy, aka Amanda Lynn. If you don't know, now you know that we do this every week, usually, unless I have some things going on. We do this every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Yes, there are replays, both in my free and paid Skool communities. We hop on here every week to answer questions. So if you don't know me, my name is Mandy. I have been working full-time on social media with digital products and services. No, I do not just resell courses. About reselling courses. Mindset, let's talk about this for just a brief second. Mindset it is talked about in this space on social media in general. I have been in courses and communities that have a mindset module, but a lot of it, in my opinion, and this is no shade, this is just my honest opinion, a lot of stuff with mindset is very, how do I word this? Toxic positivity is all I can think of to say. And it's not that these people have ill intentions in teaching mindset, but I feel like a lot of it is taught in a textbook way of this is what psychologists say and you should do and blah, blah, blah. And not in a this is real life. This is what I do when this happens. And this is how this ties to this, and just a real authentic way. There is one person that has amazing mindset advice that I've been through. Her name is Cindy. She is the creator of USC, if you guys have that. She's an amazing woman. Huge shout out to her. She has amazing education. I've learned a lot from her in my 2 years of doing this. Anyways, so that really means a lot to me, basically, is what I'm saying. That you enjoy the mindset module, and I've always gotten really good feedback on the mindset module because I want to approach you guys as human beings, and not somebody that quote unquote made it. And I'm preaching to you guys and not talking with you guys because, in my life, I'm a single mom. I have 2 boys. A lot of you guys know my personal story of the things I've been through, and I'm a very normal, real person who goes through normal, real things. I go through grieving. I have my autoimmune issues that I deal with. I have older boys that are getting older and going through their things. We're out here living real life. And when I talk to you guys about stuff, I try to, as much as I can, just teach in a way where you guys get it. And I'm talking with you, not at you, so anyways, that means a lot, Laura. Thank you so much. One of those things where hey guys, we're here to talk about mindsets, and it sounds good and you're oh, this is nice, and it's a lot of stuff that we kind of already know, but it's how do we put it into practice? And that's the other thing I really love about our community and Marketing AI Made Simple, is that not only do we teach in the modules, but we have a section in every module where we're implementing what is taught. For most modules, there's some modules we don't, digital business basics, I think, is one of them that doesn't have one, because that is really just learning, learning about licensing and things about business. But when we're doing niche, where we have an we have an implementing section where we are finding a niche for our business. We have a target audience, section where we are carving out the deep psychology of our target audience and how to use that. We are implementing everything. And then even with the mindset, I take you guys with me through a morning routine and what I would do for my mindset, and how to handle myself with grace when I fall off of that. So that's a great way to do it. Encourage learning as a learner with real life examples. Yes, not a guru. Yeah, people don't want to be talked to by influencers anymore. Maybe some tried and true influencers that you've been with through the years, but people want to just have genuine conversation with real people. I'm even seeing that in businesses out and about, in my city, people supporting small businesses and really trying to find connection in all the chaos that's going on in the world right now. I am going to head over to our paid community and find the Q&A thread and answer some questions from you guys. Feel free at any time during this live to put any additional questions in the chat, and I will go back through and we will answer those. So we're going to do paid community questions first, and then we'll go to the free Skool, and then I'll go on my social media threads. Okay. So our first question here is from Johnny. He said, how about speaking on taxes? Like around how much should we expect to pay in taxes? And if there are any tips to pay as low as possible or just help lower them in general. So let me obviously clearly state here that I am not a tax professional. I'm not a tax person. I've not studied in school for that, but I have obviously went through at least one full year getting ready to do this year filing for taxes. We discussed this quite a bit in Marketing and AI Made Simple. We have a business bookkeeping module in the classroom on how I go about keeping track of things and organizing things. Y'all know I am very much about organization. I don't think I have my business binder in here. I'm really old school and I write down my revenue and expense sheet every month and keep them. I literally have every month since I started in 2024. But you really, when you are an entrepreneur and in business, want to get in the habit of keeping track of everything and having documentation to prove it, basically. So if I am, for example, doing a month-end finance review for January, and I have a column showing my revenue, like all my payouts from Stan or PayPal or whatever, I need to have something that shows that. Now, obviously, you know, Stan Store, Begins, PayPal, they will give you a 1099 K sheets or expense. They send you tax documents, basically. Also, for reference, again, I'm in Ohio. I am in the U.S., and depending on the state that you're in or the country that you're in, any advice I'm giving you could be different. So you want to look this up or like have a very thorough conversation with ChatGPT and kind of look these things up. I would recommend your first year of business to have a tax professional, even if you think you've got it down pat. Even if you have ChatGPT, walk you step by step through your taxes. My first year hired somebody, like I filed my taxes online, but I did hire somebody to kind of go through everything with me to make sure I did it right, because it is so vastly different from filing if you have like a W-2 normal job. It is very, very different. I don't want to say like be intimidated by it. I think it's more intimidating if you're not as prepared for it. That's why I go through every single month and look at everything. But going back into having things documented. So if I'm doing my January month end business, and I have profits and revenue, I need to have some sort of documentation, paper, statement, confirmation email, receipt type of thing paired with what I'm writing down on paper. It's the same thing with expenses. So if I'm doing my expenses for January for the month, I go through my bank statement and just write a list of my expenses that are tied to business. And if I put down, that I pay for Crea $10 a month, and that's on my expense side, I need to have my emailed receipt for that and put it in a folder somewhere, either an online folder, an offline folder, print it out, screenshot it, whatever you want to do. But you basically, anything you write down physically, you want to make sure you have like documented proof of where that came from. I'm trying to think here off the top of my head. So when I do my expense sheet, let me see if I can find a piece of paper, guys. Let's say I am doing January's revenue and expenses. So I'm old school. You can do this on like a document. You can do this in Excel. I am not really an Excel girly. I really honestly hate Excel with a passion. Don't really ask me why. We don't really go over there unless we need to, but I write things down on paper and stick it in a binder. So I would just label this, January 2026, revenue and expenses, or you call it P&L, profit and loss, statement, however you want to label it. But this is really for you, and it makes life a lot easier, when you go to file. Okay, so then I will draw a little line down the middle. And I will typically start with my expenses. So I'll just write expenses. And I literally go through my bank accounts. I am working on getting a business bank account soon. I should have done that way sooner. But everything that I do right now is combined. I also want to file for an LLC this year. we'll jump into that later. But what I will literally do is go through my transactions and my bank statement for January, and anything related to business, I will write down. This includes even if I'm like, should I consider that a business expense? Because I will get clarification from that when I actually do my taxes. So like my phone bill, for example, there's a portion of that I can use for taxes. If you want to get real nitty gritty and really specific, you can use a portion of your rent. There's like a certain percentage that you can use, that you pay for your rent. And it depends on like the workspace you use. So if I came back here in my room, and it's literally like determined by square footage. And again, it can vary by your state and all of that. So make sure you speak to an advisor and kind of get clarification, but you can consider stuff like that. But the main things I'm putting down here are like my AI subscriptions, my Canva subscription, just whatever expenses. If I'm paying for like promo in a Facebook group, if I'm doing anything with Meta ads and advertising, you know, all of that I'll put down on my expenses. And so we'll just write our expenses down here, and then we will end up totaling our expenses. All right. And then let's say we do our expenses, then we're going to do our revenue. So revenue is going to be any of your deposits or payouts, cash outs that you made that have not had tax collected on them. Now, you also want to make sure that you look up digital products in your state and or region, country, and determine if you are supposed to tax your customers for digital products. I do not in the state that I'm in. Obviously, I do have to pay taxes on my income, but I am specifically speaking on if, like, is there sales tax and, you know, retail things like that when you're selling digital products. That is something you want to look up. So anyways, revenue for me is like my Stan cash outs and payouts, Skool payouts, PayPal payouts, Stripe payouts, wherever I'm getting income. I will go into my bank statement and go through transactions and the statement for January all the way the 1st through the 31st and write down every single cash out that I got. So I'll usually put, you know, an amount, and then I'll put where it came from. So Stan, PayPal, Skool, whatever. And I'll put the dates. Actually, I put the date first, and then I do the amount and where it came from. Expenses, I'll do what the expense was monetarily, where it came from, let's say Sono, and then the date first. I really just forgot to do that twice, so it's fine. So revenue, I'll do over here, unless this carries over. And then after I obviously put all my revenue, I will total my revenue. And so I have my expense total for January and my revenue total. So then I will take my revenue, which is the total money I made for that month. I will subtract my expenses, and this will give me my profits. Okay. So let's just say, for example, let's say I made $5,000 in January, but I had $600 in expenses. That means that I had a profit of $4,400. Now, what I do, and this is just common advice that I've seen from people. Sorry guys, I was checking a text. So what I do is I take my profit. So I would take this $4,400 and I multiply that by 0.3, which is 30%. And so if I take the 4,400, no, Cheryl, I am not set up as an LLC right now. I am a sole proprietor, but I am wanting to register for my LLC this year. I've been really hesitant to do it because I really want to be locked into a name for my LLC, and I don't want to have to redo anything. I'm an overthinker when it comes to that. So that's me needing to practice what I preach to you guys. So anyways, 4,400 multiplied by 30%, so 0.3. That comes out to $1,320. So this amount here is what I am going to take out and set aside for taxes. So you will make your life a whole lot easier if you take out a monthly amount in this manner. Obviously, if this is how it applies in your state and where you live, if you take this amount out and go and put it in a separate account, put it in your savings account, put it somewhere so that you have funds to pay those taxes. Now, obviously, there are other variables and factors like, you know, if you have dependents, children, deductions, that can lower the amount that you have to pay. But just keeping track of everything month by month, don't let it be a scary thing. You know, the main thing is go through every month, go through your bank statements, write down your expenses, date it, put where it's from, make sure you have documentation somewhere saved of a receipt or something like that. Have your revenue, same thing. And then, you know, calculate your taxes, put it out and put it somewhere else if you need to. And as long as you keep your documentation organized in one space and you have your monthly expenses and revenues, I mean, you're fine. So, I mean, that's taxes. I don't necessarily have tips for lowering the amount owed, just because there's so many variables and, you know, life things that people have that differ. Like if you have kids, you know, if you have a house or you're renting, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are varied with that. So that is my thing on taxes. And then we had some comments down here. So hopefully that's helpful. The next question we have is from Laura. She said, my question is about audio. I'm very disappointed with a lot of AI content that uses voices. Now, I have used 11 Labs, but I see you typing, Darren. I see you. I have used 11 Labs, but I am also a vocalist who is used to being in a professional recording studio. And for me, almost every AI video that I hear sounds very canned. What tips do you have to make it sound more natural and clear? Okay, yeah, I totally know what you're talking about, especially when it comes to VO videos. It has that almost like echoey, like if you see a piece of content and it can be really good visually, but when you hear the audio, you know, like, oh, that came from VO, or that's AI, because it has this like, I don't even know how to word that, like, outside of how you did and just saying it has like this echoey, like, it doesn't, so like AI audio sounded, it's come a long way for sure. It's definitely made some improvements with having natural pauses and things like that. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience with AI voiceovers because I prefer to use my voice. So like even when I make like lip syncing type of videos, I prefer to use Dreamface to do the lip syncing with my cartoon AI character. And I can actually just have audio of myself speaking just like this and upload that audio into Dreamface and it will sync it to the video in Dreamface. 11 Labs is by far the best that I have seen feedback from. So from somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience in using it, I have dabbled with it a little bit. 11 Labs is going to be the place right now. Obviously things are constantly changing, but it's going to be the best place to have a variation of voices to find one that you like. I know that there are things in 11 Labs where you can train your voice. And typically when you're going to train an AI voice or train your voice with AI, they give you an option to do a short, like quick version. And then they give you an option to do like a longer 5-10 minute version where you're like basically reading and speaking for that long. And I always recommend doing the longer version. When you're training anything with AI, the more that you give it, generally the better it is. Now, some things you got to kind of play with and find your threshold and preference. So like I've gotten some feedback with people that train their AI character on Craya for AI images, that the more pictures they put in there, the more wonky their outputs can get. But that obviously depends on the quality of the images being put in there and the variations of angles and such that are going in there. So it's like, what are you training it with? So like if you have, you know, let's say you're training your AI voice with 11 Labs and you're speaking for 10 minutes and you have like multiple different types of things with your voice, it's going to not be as consistent as if you were to consistently give it the same thing with your voice. But at the same time, you have to balance it, because if you're trying to get 11 Labs to produce an audio that is in a certain tone, like you're excited or you're angry or you're sassy or whatever, you want to have that variation somehow, somewhere with what you trained it with to be able to produce that, because otherwise it's going to try to use this like monotone speaking to be sassy, and you're going to be like, that doesn't sound like me. So yeah. I was going to go somewhere else with the AI audio stuff. The other tip I have with AI audio for when I have worked with it is to make, how do I want to word this? Is to make multiple shorter audio clips rather than doing a longer audio clip. The reason being for this, and this is my opinion, if I am in 11 Labs and I am, let's say like Laura's question here, like I wanted this whole thing in an audio clip, I would not just stick this whole thing in there and ask it to produce that. I would do like a sentence at a time. And even if it's like a long sentence, I might do like half of it. And 11 Labs, I believe, gives you 2 outputs to choose from. And sometimes you have to do it a couple times to get a voice and it sound conversational in a way that you like. So I've always gotten better results giving it a little bit at a time and then putting it together in like, you know, a video editor, audio editor, and then making it one clip after that. It's always come out better for me that way. So maybe, Laura, we can put a thread in the community to see if anybody has like recommendations for better AI audio. I know that is one that it's come a long way, but it needs to kind of catch up with the visuals and the videos, because I don't feel like they put a lot lately into doing improvements with AI audio. There have been improvements, but not in the strides I feel like filmmaking and pictures have. The other thing I ask people too is like, are you open? My dog, I might have to go in my living room and see what's going on there. I just heard something fall over. The other thing I ask people is, are you open to using your voice? So like some people think that, oh, if I have an AI character, like I have to use an AI voice. Some platforms don't necessarily give an option to use your own voice. So like VO, for example, I love the lip syncing usually in VO, but they don't give you an option to actually upload your audio. So like if somebody's mainly using VO, then, you know, that would be maybe a reason why. But yeah, so like if somebody's open to using their own audio or doing their own speaking, even just into your microphone, Dreamface is a really good option for lip syncing. But as far as audio, I am not super much of a big help, but I hope that somewhat helped a little bit. Maybe those tips can help. So just let me know, Laura. Darren says, do you use a software to post on Facebook or other platforms? I post a lot with the different time zone. I find some group posts are approved late, so thread posts sometimes don't get the info till I wake up. Yeah, that can be frustrating. So the groups that I post in, because I mean, you have posting on your page and then you have like posting in groups. Most of the groups that I'm posting in, I am either an owner of the group or a mod for the group, or I'm paying for promo. And actually, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I only actively pay for advertising in one Facebook group right now, and that's Faceless, I can't remember what it's called. Faceless Digital Marketing or Faceless Girls I can't even remember what it's called. I have pre-approval in those groups. Now, I'm not saying to go and like rush to pay for advertising or anything like that. But I don't deal with like having to schedule group posts. So like I am in some AI groups that the post can get approved late. And if you're posting something where, let's say you're offering like a free product or a lead magnet, or like a link to a free community or something where you have to follow up in the comments, that is out of your hands. So, I mean, if it gets approved late, you just, you know, stay on top of that when you are up, and you can post that in there and then get back to the people that have maybe commented on it requesting that information. So now when it comes to Facebook itself, so I don't use a software to post and schedule anything, actually. Like I cross post every single day and repurpose a lot of my content. I have a Facebook profile, and so if you have a Facebook profile and you have professional mode turned on, you can schedule your content. So like, let me see. Let me get out of this live. So yeah, I can schedule my posts, but obviously I can't schedule comments to my post. So I also cover in the paid Skool community, in the business bookkeeping module, we go over like a daily, weekly, and monthly to-do list. And this is like something I'm very structured on to hold me accountable and make sure that my basics get done basically for business before I go into like any other products. And I actually just made a post about this the other day, and I talk about this religiously about having a daily to-do and a project list. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because people that are trying to batch content, like batch create content and schedule it out so that they can focus on, you know, sales, they can focus on, you know, doing their engagement or creating products or upkeeping a community. That's a good thing that you're in the mindset of wanting to batch and create content and schedule it out. But for depending on what you're posting, we can't always do that. So like I've been really big lately into doing thread style posts where I have, let's see if I can find an example. Can you like stop being annoying, computer? Okay. So I've been really big into thread style posts where like I will post like my hook and my main part of my post and then want them to go into the comments, because as I comment more on the post, it's going to boost it to be seen by more people. And I also don't like putting links directly in a Facebook post because Facebook doesn't push it out as much anymore. And actually, if you guys have seen in like AI and social media updates, Meta is testing out a like subscription pay feature where if you don't have it, basically that you're only allowed to post with links in them twice per some time period, which is crazy to me. And I just never thought I'd see the day that Facebook would be making us pay for anything. But you know, it is Meta. So anyway, so because I like to do these thread style posts, I can't necessarily schedule these unless I schedule it, but set an alarm for when it posts and then go in and do the comments, which will kind of defeat the whole purpose of scheduling it. So, what I do is I follow a strict schedule. So like I have my daily non-negotiables, and when I get up in the morning, let's say it's a school day and I'm getting my kids ready for school, usually like in the drop-off line of school, I will start to do my main posting for the day. So I have not necessarily a set time, but I have a set order every day that I have daily non-negotiable things that I have to do. So like when I get up in the morning and I get on social media, I'm not trying to like determine every individual day, like, okay, do I want to go check my school notifications? Do I want to go jump on my messages? I cannot function and do like random things before I finish one thing to hold myself accountable in business, with this being my full-time job. So like, for example, I can't wake up, go and respond to 3 messages, go and check some school community notifications, but then go and do a post in a group and then go back into my messages. I get it all done in time blocks in a way that works for me and my schedule. So ideally for me, most of my stuff's getting done when my kids are in school. But when I get up, I will do my post and get those out of the way. So I'll do that on my page and then my set groups. Obviously, if you're waiting for it to get approved in a group, you're kind of at discretion of when they approve it, unless you pay for advertising, or you're like a mod in the group and you have pre-approval. Ideally, like for me, like one of my goals in the beginning of my first year of business was to create and nurture my own community so that that's the main place that I can post. Another really good suggestion that I would have for that, for people to see your stuff easier basically, is if you are okay with upkeeping a community, which sounds like a lot more than it has to be, start a free community. So whether that's a Facebook group, ideally I'm trying to advise people to do something off of social media because, you know, groups getting banned. There was that thing, what was it, last year when like a bunch of random groups got shut down for really no reason at all. and they had to wait to get it back, and some of them didn't get it back. Like, social media is very unreliable, and we're at the hands of the owners of social media. We don't own our social media. So that's why I made my free community AI Made Simple in Skool. Obviously, I have a funnel process there, but for me, that has been the best decision to do and have as a lead magnet, rather than continuously trying to pump out free guides or free ebooks or free video courses. Like, out of all the lead magnets that I have tried to use to get leads, like, they're effective to do those things, but I am able to nurture my audience much better in a community, especially with it being over on Skool. So I'm getting people off of social media into the Skool platform, where a lot of people are. Yeah, Laura, I just saw your comment. Something went boom, bam. But, you know, if somebody goes and joins my Skool community that's free, first of all, they're getting a benefit because I have free full-length classes in there. My lead magnet is also a lead magnet option for anybody in my paid community. And so basically, anyone in my paid community that wants to be an affiliate for the course can set up their own lead magnet with my free community, where I'm basically doing the marketing for them. And yeah, I just lost my train of thought, guys. But with them being off of social media and going into Skool, anytime I put a post in that community, now obviously I don't want to spam people. I want to give education, inspiration, and then do, you know, my upsells when they're appropriate. But they're getting a notification within Skool unless they have their settings changed. With, you know, something like Facebook, obviously I'm still always going to be active on social media, but I have to rely on the algorithm, or, you know, if somebody even sees my post. And then the other thing with me having a free community as a lead magnet is I am just not a fan of email marketing. I know quite a bit about email marketing. I've had effective email marketing, but I just don't really like setting up email flows and like emailing back and forth with people. I would rather be in a community where other people can benefit from one another, and we can have discussions, and I can post videos, and I just have a more direct access to people in a more open way than emails. That's just my own preference. So yeah. So anyways, my point with that is, if you're having an issue with being in groups that you're not, let's say, paying for promo in, and they're approving your post late, or they take a while to do so, try and maybe start building your own communities and get people over to that, which would still require you to be on social media and make posts to get people there, but have some type of benefit for them. And then the more that that community grows, the better type of access you'll have to those people, rather than posting in other groups and waiting for them to approve it late. Now, obviously, even when we have our own type of free community, we still want to be posting in good, you know, quality groups to get that exposure and leverage audiences from other people. But that's just a tip maybe that could help with that. So I hopefully that helped, Aaron. I don't know if that like fully answered your question, but I don't use a software to schedule anything. So even when I do like my Pinterest pins, I am scheduling my stuff on the Pinterest app, on Facebook. Anything I do schedule is scheduled on Facebook itself. Facebook has like a Meta Business Manager, I believe, as well. I don't really do a lot on Instagram. A lot of my stuff, I don't schedule. I do it every day. So I'll post randomly what I feel like throughout the day, but as far as the content I know I'm going to post that day, I get up in the morning and I have a set time block that I just get my posting done. So hopefully that is helpful. Would you recommend using your personal profile or create a page? So I get this question a lot. So when I started marketing on Facebook, I was using my personal page, and I started having a lot drowned out with like the business groups I was in and the types of content I was engaging with. And I don't have like a buku amount of friends on my personal Facebook. That's like family and friends. And those people are not my audience. And I think that anytime you're starting a new venture where your target audience is shifted, it is much, much better to start a brand new fresh page than to convert one. It is a lot easier. A lot of people have more success with starting over from scratch and trying to reach the right type of people from the get than trying to convert an existing audience. So an example I'll give you guys is my personal TikTok account that I've had for years. I'm sitting at around like 3,800 followers, and that is just from when I used to do lives on TikTok, not business related, just going live and doing battles and weird stuff because, you know, that's me. And just doing content, you know, voiceovers, skits, funny stuff, beauty stuff, random life Mandy stuff, right? I have tried to post my like AI voiceover clips and business type of content over on that TikTok because I have a following over there. It's not done really anything for me. I don't really get leads from TikTok. I've had occasional types of people like message me every now and then. But I actually like will lose followers because that's not my following. That's not what they're on my account for. That's not what they followed me. And they're like, what is this? So it's not that they don't like my content or that my content is bad, but those are not my people for that venture. So I don't really advise people to start from a personal profile that you already have that exists. And then also just back to the point that, you know, your business stuff that you're doing is going to drown out any updates from your friends and your family. You know, whatever you're comfortable with sharing. Like, I'm more open to sharing stuff with my kids on my personal stuff. You guys see that I don't share a whole lot of visual things with my kids on my public profile because it's public. So yeah. And when it comes to like creating a profile over a page on Facebook, it can get kind of finicky. So I ended up making a separate profile for my Facebook, and if you are able to do so, I would recommend that over a page for multiple reasons. But what I will say is that it's not always possible for people to do that. So Facebook, technically, they don't want people to have multiple profiles under the same like person and their legal name. I'm gonna have to see what's changed with this because obviously it's been about 2 years since I went through decision making to have a profile. But sorry, I start reading your guys' comments on the live on my phone that's filming this, and then I get sidetracked. But Facebook is pretty finicky with allowing people to be able to create a separate profile. If you do it, you have to have a totally different variation of your name. So like my legal name is Mandy, but I used Amanda Lynn, which is a part of my middle name, to create this profile. And you have to use a different email address that cannot be connected to your personal account. You also have to have a different password than the one on your personal, or it's going to keep logging you back into your personal account. So a lot of people do this, or they'll try to do this, and like Facebook is like, nah, bro, no, you can't do that. Some people have told me that they are able to create a separate profile that is a business profile. I don't know if they're meaning a page and think it's a profile, but some people have told me they can do that. And then I have also read quite a bit about people being able to have sub profiles on Facebook, which I don't have the capability to do. I have not really seen anybody who's been able to do it, but like Facebook has an article on having a sub profile. So like, let me find you guys an example. But basically what it's supposed to be is that like you're logged into Facebook on your main account, but you can have like a set amount of accounts under your main account that are for different things. But having a profile over a page is a lot less restricting. So like, for example, if you want to ever end up being like a mod in a group, you can't typically do that with a Facebook page. There are Facebook groups that don't allow pages to join them. Like you have to be a profile to join them. So, I just made a faceless, page in our Build a Business series in the Paid School community. And there's a large AI group that is an amazing group, has a lot of people in it, a lot of good information. I get a lot of crossover organic traffic from that group, but they don't allow pages to join. And so I can't join that group. So, I mean, it can be a bit more restricting to have a page over a profile, but you can do a page. Just know that there's going to be some limitations. So let me mute this live. And then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with the sub-profiles.
We'll guide you through how to make a second Facebook profile. If you find this useful, then consider subscribing and liking the video. This is super useful to do if you're using Facebook for work, or there may be another reason for it. So to go and get started, you need to go to the bottom right or the top right of Facebook and click on the menu button. Then what you need to do is go to the top right, and there, to the right of your profile, you're going to see an arrow. Click there, and it'll go and open up this sort of menu here. And you want to go and click on Create Facebook Profile, like so. And then what we can do is go and create a new personal profile. You can get a new name and feed and choose who you connect with. Select that, and you can then go and click on Next. Choose your Instagram account if you want. I'll just skip that. And then what we can do is go and add a profile name and a photo. So I'll do that now. I've entered a name, and you can add a photo if you want to, and you can then press.
Yeah, so there's that. I have never been able to do that on any of my Facebook accounts, and I don't think, spoken with anyone that's able to do that either. So I don't know, but there's that information if anybody wants to try it, and you're able to do that. Do you only sell on your Stan store, or do you put your custom GBT on other platforms as well? Yeah, I only have offers on my Stan store. We did just finish the digital storefront module in Marketing and AI Made Simple. So we have the teaching, obviously, on setting up a simple store, and walk through setting up a brand new store for the new faceless account. I am really hoping that when I do these lives, I don't slip up and like say the name of the page and profile that we're doing. At some point, I am going to reveal like who it is that we're doing this like live use case for this series, but I don't want to like give it away. And like, I'm really scared that I'm going to say it at some point on these lives. And I hope I don't. But yeah, so like GBTs, for example, I have them in my community where all my GBTs are, the business bot suite. And then if I'm listing them individually, I do make a listing for those on Stan Store. So only the Prime account can be pro. Oh yeah. Okay. So if you do the sub accounts, only the Prime first account can be in professional mode. So like, that's a good point, Darren, so that you would have to have that be your business page for analytics and monetization and all of that good stuff. So, okay, Laura, let me go and read about your community. My Living the La La Life brand, that is cute. I like that name. That leans toward walking in your life purpose. It's a Facebook group. I want to do Skool, but I am not sure that I have enough to even fill that. It's pretty much like your whole mindset concept. I'm changing up my life, and I am taking people along with me. I love that. Okay, so random side note, if anybody remembers that I used to have a group called Mindset Made Simple, and it was like a super, super low monthly subscription. And the reason I even wanted people to pay for it is because when people pay for things, they typically show up better and more intentional with it. So like, people will join mindset stuff all day long, but if you just join it and then drop off of it, don't really take it serious. When you put some type of money towards something, or pay for it, or make a decision to join it, even though it's a paid group, you're going to usually be more active and participate more in it. But that was a really fun group that I did. I didn't really have time to upkeep with it the way I wanted to, but that was really cool while I had it. Okay, so it's a Facebook group. Definitely recommend you doing a Skool group once you have more of a guided like outline of what you want to do, Laura. And also just keep in mind that like, nothing is ever set in stone. So you can have like concepts for things you want to do in this group, and change it. And you know, the next month, the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months down the road is completely different. That's totally fine. I use ChatGPT a lot to help me with how I want to do things. So for example, my Skool group, Marketing and AI Made Simple, came from my first ever paid mentorship group. Was in a private hidden Facebook group, and the only people that could get in there would be people who paid for it, which I would check in my my customer database and Stan. So we had topics in the group, in the featured section of the group. and I would have a pinned featured post on, you know, some type of topic. And then in the comments of that post would be where the lessons and the classes and stuff were. So when it comes to like mindset, mental health, you know, normal life things, one thing you could do is go into ChatGPT and give it some information about the vision that you want to do. And one thing I practice with ChatGPT, this is going to sound really goofy and like maybe it's a lot for people, but I will basically, like, before I start a chat for something, I'll go into a brand new chat with ChatGPT and I'll brain dump all of my stuff and what I want to do, but tell it I want to make a prompt to do all of this stuff I just brain dumped to you. And then you end the prompt with, ask me any relevant questions you would need an answer to so that we can thoroughly complete this and that you totally get the vision, basically. And so you can go in here and say, hey, like, I have this group, this is what I want to do. I'm unsure of like how I want to do this or what I would put in Skool, yada, yada. Maybe we need to have a module on creating communities. Maybe we should do that. Like I have a group goals course in the paid community that you guys get for free. That talks and dives really deeply into Facebook groups. But as far as like Skool communities and like just getting started, maybe we should do something like that. Because I have a couple other smaller Skool community ideas I might want to do. Anyway, so you go into ChatGPT and you're prompting it to give you a prompt. So like, hey, ChatGPT, I have this group and I want to set up like a structure and get like theme ideas and just figure out how I want to run it, basically. But I want a good prompt to start this conversation with. Ask me any questions, blah, 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 and then provide me with a prompt to start this conversation. And then you go into a new chat with ChatGPT and you put that new super prompt in there. And then you go through that motion and just make changes as you need to. Laura, I don't know if you are in the Business Bot Suite. We do also have a bot that is specifically to help people with this. Okay, so if you go into social media bots, we have this bot called the Group Whisperer, and it literally guides you whether you are brand new creating a group from scratch, or if you already have one, or if you even use this bot to start and make a group and you're just kind of maintaining it and rolling up, you know, some more ideas for the upcoming months. It helps you with all of that. So I don't know if you're in there or not, but we do have that bot. And if you don't, it's a bot that can be purchased on its own. I think it's still half off. There's still spots to get it half off. Or it's included in the Business Bot Suite, which is under $100 right now. So, but if anybody is in the Business Bot Suite and you are wanting to build a community, you need to get in here, go to social media bots down here and use the Group Whisperer. I mean, this will work for Facebook, Skool, whatever. And then lately too, like I have been using AI to create module covers for me in Skool. So what I do is, let's see, where did ChatGPT go? So like instead of just going into ChatGPT images, I will go into the chat with ChatGPT and have it feed me text to image prompts for what I want to do. And if you have any like inspiration photos, like if somebody has module covers that you like, or you've seen some type of text on Pinterest you like, or give it reference photos when you can. If you can't, just try to be kind of like descriptive of what you want. Okay, so like let's say, for example, I'm in the Business Bot Suite. And I want to make, because like I do want to make some new module covers for these because like they're okay, but like they're kind of boring, you know? So I have my branding colors, obviously. But what I could do is like go to my about page. If you don't have any reference images to work with or what have you, that's totally fine. You can just give it some vision of what you want. So for example, I will go and say, let's say, act as a graphic designer for social media with 25 years of experience. And I'm going to tell it what I want to do. I want you to create some text to image prompts for Skool for a Skool module cover for me. I'm gonna give it my brand colors. So my brand colors are white, black, electric blue, and neon pink, because we are that girl. Use hex codes if you have them, if you can. That'll make things a lot easier. I just don't feel like digging them out right now. My brand colors are blah, blah, blah. The text for the module is GBTs. I want this to be ultra 3D and fun, but professional and futuristic and feminine. And we're just going to send that off. Okay, so from here, it's going to give us some prompts, right? Because like if I were to just go into ChatGPT images and type something like that in, like we have no idea what we're going to get. This is going to give you different variations of things. I should have put the size. So like if you know the dimensions of what you need, put that in there. I didn't, but do better than me, guys. All right. So over in another tab, we'll go over into images. And basically we'll just drop these prompts in here, or you could do this over in Nano Banana, wherever you want to make your images. So we'll go ahead and drop one of these in here. And depending on if we like them or don't like them, we just go back into the chat that's making our prompts and give it that feedback. Like, hey, these are a little flat. Can we make them more 3D? Or, hey, these look blocky. Can we round out whatever? And like, it will make adjustments to those prompts to help you create. So I do this with like YouTube thumbnail covers too. Like if you guys go over to my YouTube channel, my last 2 or 3 video thumbnails have been created with AI. I don't remember if it was Nano Banana or ChatGPT images. ChatGPT images is doing better, in my opinion, these days than Nano Banana, which kind of blows my mind. But all right, so we'll wait on that. But that's just an example. Yes, and I've been seeing so many of you, whoever's in here that is in marketing and AI made simple, I have been seeing so many of you guys launch groups and message me and tell me about it, invite me to them. I am so freaking proud of you guys. Like, that's a big deal. A lot of people want to have their own community, but they hold themselves back from doing it because they don't have a plan. They don't know what they want for like theme days. They're worried about people engaging, worried about this, that, da, 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 da. And the theme of, you know, my communities is to just freaking do it. Learn as you go. You cannot plan something perfectly. And obviously we don't want to look stupid. We don't want to like not know what we're doing. I totally get that. But just, I mean, even through life, like do what it is you want to do. And you have to have some things that you mess up or that you could do better to have data points analytically to learn and grow from. So like, there's things that I have launched that have flopped. There are things that I really felt would do well and it didn't. And like, I use those data points to learn and grow moving forward so that I can prevent that, but also just say, okay, this doesn't work for my business, but I'll do this instead. And then it works. And you know, same thing with groups. Like, okay, this is not working in my group. Let me try to look at analytics and figure out why. And this month I'm going to try this with my group and see if it's hit or miss and just go from there. So I don't know. I just wanted to shout out people in my community for starting their own stuff. Like, I'm really, really proud of you guys. So even if like you're not using a bot that is programmed to help you with that, there are ways that you can go and prompt your LLM that you're working with, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini, to give you a super prompt to start a conversation with. And I'm telling you guys, if you're starting a new like project or chat, that's going to be somewhat extensive in the LLM you're working with, and you end your prompt with, ask me any relevant questions that you need answers to so that this can be as detailed and thorough as possible and you understand the vision. That, adding that to the end of your prompt does freaking wonders. Like it prevents so much, it prevents the AI, you know, trying to fill in context that you haven't given it. And the AI making assumptions about what it is that you want to do that might sound good, but then when you go to implement what it's telling you to do, you feel like something's missing because it needed more context. But it's not going to tell you that because it's going to respond and give you an answer to whatever you're, giving it. So this goes back to, I feel like we talk about this a lot too. People are going to appreciate genuineness in you. Like if you start a group and it's banging and has all this value and good stuff and people are like blown away, like that's the ultimate obvious goal, but that's a very polished goal. It's the same thing with like people following like a page that is a business, right? So people are more inclined to follow somebody that is giving an authentic journey and being genuine and just is a relatable human more than they are a business selling something, So like obviously, communities that we start, we have an end goal, maybe it's to get people into a funnel or sell things, but we have an end goal to something, even if maybe you're not monetizing something, but people are going to be more willing to follow along a journey that's authentic, where we show up and we're like, hey guys, like, then I talked about this with Justin too, and then Justin went live, and now Justin does lives on Fridays, and I don't want to be the sole reason for that or say I'm the sole reason for that, but a lot of times in my experience, once you do something that you have fears of doing, it is a lot of times not as bad as your brain presented it to you to not do. Like that is just fear. Fear is very needy and fear tries to get us to stay in our comfort zone. And a lot of times when we just do the thing, it's like, wow, like that really wasn't that bad. And oh, wow, I really can do this. I really do have time for this. So that was me with Skool. So everything that I would launch, even like memberships, it would be done in a Facebook group. And then I was like, I need to figure out something else because I'm not trying to like have, a membership group where people are paying to be in there get shut down or something because it's on social media. And I've seen schools, and a lot of the schools that I were in were these bigger course communities with multiple people on their team to help them run it. And like, even now we're at 400 members in Marketing and AI Made Simple. I run that on my own. AI Made Simple, the free school community, is very close to 1,000 members. I run that on my own. And I was intimidated. I had a lot of the same things like that you guys are telling me, like, oh, like how do I want to set up my modules? What am I going to put in the modules? Do I have enough stuff? Which obviously at this point I do so much. You guys see that I just run around like somebody with their head cut off doing things. But there's been times where I was still in the trenches of learning and like figuring out what were my products going to be? What was my expertise going to be? And like, what am I going to do? And I waited so long to get on Skool, for example. And when I started doing Skool, I think I started at the end of last summer. So it's maybe been like 6 months, 7 months since I've been on Skool with my own communities. I was like, holy crap, like this is not difficult at all. And like, there are things constantly, even now, that I want to change. Like if I go into my free school community, AI Made Simple, like I want to change the cover over here. If I go in my classroom, like these modules, I thought they were beautiful and I made them the covers, and like now I hate them. I'm going to change them and probably rebrand. And I'm going to stick to my same colors because I don't want to give my audience whiplash, but I'm changing stuff in here all the time. And so that's the other thing, is going back to what we were saying earlier. Like, it's not, what you do is not set in stone. You can change things whenever you need to change them. So I don't know. I just wanted to give that perspective that like, I put off doing a school community for a long time because in my mind, my needy sense of fear was like, only big deal people do that, and people with big followings or people that like make thousands of dollars with their own course, do that. But like another thing too that I think that would be helpful for you guys, like the Skool community, which you don't have to make your community on Skool. If you want to use something else, that's totally fine. But Skool themselves, they put out these weekly videos on YouTube. And let me try to find, it's called Skool News. And they obviously talk about their platform and stuff like that, but like they are very, very involved in like helping people that have a school to grow. And it's also just very inspiring to watch these. So like in their weekly news videos they have a segment towards the end where they'll highlight some communities, and it's not like a they made this much money type of thing. It is we want to show you different types of groups that you can have for different things that people are doing and making money. So they show smaller communities, bigger communities, but they have a different type of niche, and it always inspires me to see all the different ways that people can make money online and having a community. But they also do give you tips on how to build your community, how to retain and keep your, members if you have a monthly membership, how to prevent churn, which is like people canceling and stuff. They're really cool videos to watch, and I watch it to open my mind with what I can do over on Skool, but I mainly watch it to, it's like community training for me, basically. And then seeing what other people are doing and how they're doing things just opens up my mind and inspires me for what I can do with my stuff. But yeah, if you want to take, take 20, 30 minutes, or if you're driving or doing your dishes or whatever, like go and type Skool news and YouTube search and just go pick one of their videos to watch. And I think that would help you guys a lot if anyone's debating on starting a community. I've created a Facebook group but haven't sent it out yet. What? Darren! I just need to push go and get on with it. Yes! Invite people. Let's go, Darren. What the heck? Darren, I better get an invite to your group today. I won't see it in my notifications, though. You'll have to, like, send it to me in a message. Darren, you better post in the free community. Darren! I'm not trying to, like, yell your name so much. Okay, so Darren, I just made a post in our paid group asking people to share their communities. I feel like you've probably seen it. So you're going to go and comment your community in there, and then you're going to go on social media and just start talking about your group, Darren. What are you doing? Everybody go join Darren's group. He's going to put a link to it in these comments of this live. Thinking Skool could be a better place to create a community. I mean, you can do both. So like, man, I really went down the Facebook rabbit hole, guys, last year. So like, I make mistakes, right? On today's episode of Don't Do What Mandy Did. So if y'all remember, those of you that have been with me for a while, there was a time period, maybe about a year ago now, that I made 10 Facebook groups in a day. Yeah. Yep, I did that. So I have a Facebook group right now that started as Learn Digital Marketing from Scratch, grew that group. We are now at 17,000 members. It is growing very well. And that is my most successful group. That is the first group I ever made. And because that group was going so well, I was like, let me make some more groups. And I did. I made 10 of them. And I was like, well, if I can do this with this group, and I'm making money in this group by charging promo and promoting my products and services and blah, 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 why can't I do that 10 times? And I'm here to just tell you, don't do that, because most of those groups did not grow, and I just did not have time to engage and put a plan together for 10 different groups and be there authentically and, genuinely. But I mean, you guys see the vision of where I was going. I was like, yeah, if I can do this in one group, I can set this up on autopilot, boom, bang, bam, do this for 10 groups. And now I have made the decision as of this year that I'm condensing my groups. I gave 2 of them away to a good friend of mine named Adrienne. She is amazing. She is a amazing Facebook guru. She is running 2 of the groups, and the other ones are just being paused, and I'm sending people over to the main one and condensing into one Facebook group. And then I have my Skool community. Skool has really become a big focus for me. But yeah, do both. Darren, have a Facebook group and a Skool community because you can tie them together. Skool is working a lot this year on improving their traffic to communities. So if you have like a free community, and you keep engagement up in there and get people involved and it's active. Seriously, like, when I started my Skool community, I do still do a little bit of email marketing. I send out some broadcast emails, for like sales and stuff like that. But like, I collect and nurture my leads in my Skool community, period. Now, like, I have a little over like 4,500 leads in Stan versus like the close to 1,000 people in AI Made Simple, but my conversions are so much better in my Skool community, and I can nurture my community in there so much better than through an email, period. Like, it is done so much better for me than email marketing. And Skool getting traffic, yes. Oh my gosh, what is going on with me? So Skool is working as a platform this year to increase their capabilities to drive people in Skool to your communities, whether that is free or a paid community, based on, you know, how active your group is, the engagement that's going on, you know, the churn rate, and like how many people you're retaining versus people that are leaving, and so on and so forth. There's no spam in your group. You upkeep and manage it well, not perfectly, but your group's just popping, right? Like in my group, we're not perfect. I've had weeks I've had to cancel things and move things. And gosh, I had like almost a whole month off from December to January because of health stuff I had going on, and our schedule fell off a little bit. But just a good group. You know, my group's not perfect, and I have things I change, and I'm one person running a group with now 400 people that are pretty active in there, and I do it on my own. But also, if you have a Facebook group and a Skool group, Facebook groups can also get traffic, based on SEO, based on GEO. So, you know, search optimization with AI now and how things are changing with that. Depending on if you have a group and it's a public group, which I highly recommend, then it's searchable. So if you, I don't know what your group is about, Darren, but if you have a group that is AI based or something, and you go and do a vague search for groups like that, see what kind of keywords are coming up in that. You know, do some keyword research, which we have an SEO module in Marketing and AI Made Simple. But do some keyword research and see what your audience is actively searching for, and include those words in the title of your group, in the description of your group. This is a public group that can be searchable. People can find you, people can join the group, and then you have a pinned post or have a reoccurring weekly post that is posting in your group about your Skool community, and you just get people over there. So also, I want to tell you, with you asking about custom GBTs, so since you're in the Marketing and AI Made Simple community, if you go to the classroom in that community, you're going to go to the All Things AI module. And then I want you to go to the custom GBT class, and we show you how to make the GBT, how to test it, revise it. And then there's a section down here that shows us actually making a listing and publishing a listing for sale for the GBT. And then we also have one under that on how ways to launch it and do the marketing for it. So I want you to go to those last two right there if you already have GBTs made, and just see how I set that up to sell. And then we have a marketing one under that on how to market them. So just wanted to visit that. Okay, can you please help with text to logo generation AI tools? Best tools that are free to use, and logo that is created that can be downloadable. We kind of discussed this earlier, because like I would go through the same process. So if you're doing something like a logo or generating logos for people or yourself, I would recommend to find a good free like upscale tool. There's a ton of them out there. I don't have one off the top of my head that I am using right now, but there are free upscale tools that you can use like either an app, or if you want to do it on a computer, if you're doing your work on the computer. But if I was doing a logo, I would honestly do the same process that I showed you guys earlier when we were making module covers, which it's still not done. What is going on, ChatGPT? This is not a normal thing. But anyways, so when I showed you guys how I had ChatGPT write me text to image prompts, and then put that in a new chat and use either Nano Banana or ChatGPT image, which both can be used free. I don't know the limits currently with the new ChatGPT image and how many they let you create if you have a free ChatGPT account. Nano Banana lets you do quite a few daily image generations if you want to use Nano Banana. And then obviously you can have the free ChatGPT account and, you know, do the text to image prompts. So going back up here, let's see. We would just kind of give it, you know, information similar to what we did here, act as a graphic designer and maybe business strategist with 25 years of experience. I want you to create some text to image prompts for and you would say for a logo for the company, blah, blah, blah. And then you would give it brand colors if you have it, give it some type of vision or idea of like what you're wanting. If you want it to be a flat logo, a 3D logo, you know, give it a brain dump of what you're thinking. And then it's going to spit out prompts at you. And then you play around with those prompts, create them in whatever your image generator is of choice. And if you don't like what's coming out, then you go back to this chat where it's building your prompts. Tell it what you don't like, tell it what you want added, or tell it what you wanted to stop doing. It will adjust the prompts and give you more. And you just kind of repeat that process until you find something that you like. And then I would upscale the image for the logo. The other thing is with, let's say we have a logo. So if you have a Canva account, which you can also do this with Nano Banana. But if I do this in Canva, I probably make things harder on myself than I should. But you can do a background remover and just store that somewhere so that if you are sharing a graphic or, you know, let's say you have a book cover, a product, a story, and you want to put that somewhere, you can do that. So if I were to go into Canva, so like you could, for example, upload your logo, your finished logo back into Nano Banana or ChatGPT image and say, hey, remove the background of this, and it will give you that, and you would just save and download that. But you can also do this with Canva. And I do like doing it in Canva, I think, too, because I do quite a bit in Canva. Not as much anymore. Like, AI does a lot of it for me. But let's say I had this picture. Like, let's say this was my logo, right? I'm going to click on background remover up here. And then if I have, let's say, a folder in Canva that is for branding, right? All my branding stuff, my stuff I'm going to reuse, blah, 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 whatever. I can save this and put it in the branding folder in Canva. Now, obviously, these little daisies are there. And if we wanted to delete that, we could click on edits right up here. And go to Magic Studio. We would go to Magic Eraser and we would delete to the daisies. I kind of like the daisies, but I'm just showing you guys an example here as my chair is being squeaky and annoying. And bam, the daisies are gone. And then we would just exit out of there and, you know, we can resize it or do whatever. And outside of, like, you know, let's say we wanted to stick it down there to be branded, boom, boop, there's me. We could also, trying to think here, folders. So we could also just download this too. Maybe not that small, but like, let's say we have our Bing Bong Bang logo. So we would click share up here in the top right. We would download this, download it as a PNG, and then I can upload it over here to the left. So I'll show you guys how I did that. Hold on. And this could be for nothing. Like, nobody's probably going to do this way. Like, you can just literally go in Nano Banana and have it remove the background of your logo, keep your logo in your downloads of your phone, and then just go to it when you need it. So anyways, we downloaded the picture, and then over here on this bar, we're going to go and click on uploads, which is where all our images will be in Canva. And then it's usually on images right here, but I'm going to click on folders, and it's going to exit for no reason. We're going to click on create folder, folder name, branding, continue. Boom, we got a folder. Why do you keep doing that to me, Canva? Stop. What the heck? No, I want to go to uploads. Jeez. Okay, upload files or add design, and then I would just add that design I downloaded, and boom, whatever. Yeah, so I don't want to repeat that process for Jay, so hopefully that will answer your question on just creating like prompts, basically text to logo generation, which is the same as text to image generation. You're just specifying that you're making a logo rather than like a Skool module cover or what have you. What are the steps to learn the key components of AI that are needed to be successful using AI in your business? What are the steps to learn the key components of AI that are needed to be successful using AI in your business? This is a dependent question because, one, it depends on what kind of business the person has and what an individual's goal is to do with AI for their business. So a lot of people, for example, are very focused on the visuals with AI. So images, videos, filmmaking, making, video content for stories, reels, YouTube shorts, what have you. Some people are using AI to help them with written copywriting content, or just, business strategy. I think that there needs to be more education, which obviously we have in our community. But I think there needs to be more open education about using ChatGPT, Gemini, or just using AI in general as a business strategist partner. And when you look at the conflicting sides of people that are for or against AI, I think that a lot of people that are anti-AI are looking at AI as people using it to replace things. And obviously there are, some legitimate concerns of people who use it in a way that is not productive, if that makes any sense at all. So like people that do have AI just completely do a whole community for them, and they verbatim use everything that AI spits out at them, and they don't proofread it. They don't really give it context. It's very basic surface level info. But I think the general rule and the general thing to consider is that most people who are using AI efficiently my phone was dying, guys. I had to plug you in. But they are using AI as a guide and not usually ever as a replacement. And so to me, in my opinion, AI is generally an extension of creativity we've already had, ideas that we already had. But it gives us some more structure and organization. It can maybe extend things that come from our original thoughts that maybe we wouldn't have thought to do. It can cut a lot of creation time in half. It can get us to steps in our business or our life quicker than if we would, think of it on our own. And so it's not that AI is doing that work for us, but it's kind of extending what inspiration or motivation we already had into something more. And so it's kind of boosting what's within us already. So anyways, depending on, what kind of business do you have? What is your niche? What kind of content are you creating? And what is your goal? How are you wanting AI to help you? Are you wanting it to give you branded visuals? Are you wanting it to, learn AI skills and then monetize those AI skills? Are you wanting to have specific bots that do certain business tasks for you like an employee would? Are you wanting to use it as a business partner to help you get to business goals and help you analyze your statistics and your growth and your sales, and kind of be your partner with what you're doing with your business or side hustle or brand. So it depends on those things. But if you kind of break things down, there are multiple different layers of AI. And obviously in each layer, there are multiple tools that exist currently and will keep popping up as, people are competing and racing against each other of who can do the best at the cheapest cost with AI. It's a booming industry right now. But for me, in my opinion, I think that anybody who wants to start education and start learning and doing things with AI, they absolutely need to start with the boring stuff first. A lot of AI is what we see on social media is what's trending, and, the dance motion videos and the talking funny babies that have Judge Judy voices and, the cute stuff that is visually appealing because it catches attention, and people think, oh, I need to learn that first because then I'll look cool and I can post these cool, beautiful images like everybody else is doing. But if you create those images and post them and maybe get some likes and engagement, but you don't have a plan on what to convert that to, then essentially we're lost. So what I did, and I'm very blessed in my journey with AI because I found the right people at the right time in me learning. So, I talk about Steven a lot in my lives, my education, and he's somebody I've really learned a lot with AI through, but he had a course that came out that was completely about ChatGPT and learning an LLM and how it actually works and how to use it strategically and use it like an advanced individual on it instead of using it like Google. And so he is really who I've learned a lot with how to actually prompt and get better outputs. So like prompt engineering, how well you do or don't write a prompt. And so you see, for example, all the time, let me think of an example. Like if you go into it and say, hey, create me a business plan, as somebody who wants to make money with AI, that is a very basic, no context prompt. And AI is going to give you an answer because it's designed to do that, but it's going to be very assumptive. It's going to be very vague. It's going to be very surface level, and it's going to maybe sound good too. But again, as we discussed before, in the end, when you're trying to implement what it's giving you, it's going to feel like it's missing something because it's not creating anything with any context that you gave it specific to you and your desire of what you want to do. If you take that same prompt and you learn how to prompt and then you practice that continuously, and then now you can write your own prompts from scratch instead of having ChatGPT create you a prompt. You can kind of just do it freehand. You give it a role, you tell it what you want to do, you give it some context and constraints and output of what you want. And it's a thing that you learn and practice and continue to get better at. So the boring stuff with AI, like, how do I really effectively use ChatGPT, which sounds simple, like, oh, duh, you just go in ChatGPT and tell it what you want. But no, it's learning how to prompt to get the best output. It is knowing how to, create foundational business documents for yourself that you can upload into anything you do with AI and don't have to keep repeating yourself, and it has detail and context about you. It is knowing when to create a GBT bot and what types of things to create that for versus using an ongoing project in ChatGPT rather than the main chat or using a bot. It's knowing when and where to go to use those things for what. And just practicing and finding your own use cases of your business and your personal life of what you can use AI for. So just really digging in and learning the capabilities of what AI can do and build before you go into the visuals, the videos, the content creation, the music, all of that, and just kind of extending off of things from that. So yeah, I think that's the first thing. Like, pick what you want to use as an LLM, your conversational AI. So whether it's Claude, whether it's Gemini, whether it's ChatGPT, whatever that is, find what you want to use, try a couple different things, find what your thing is and really learn it inside and out and play with it, practice often. And then from there, you want to use it to just extend from there. Like, what are you seeing on your feed and things like that interest you. You know, if you are somebody that wants to get into doing like AI photo shoots, that's when you go into practicing and creating with those things and just learning and being observant. So if you, yeah, I'll answer your guys' questions in just a second, because I will definitely lose where I'm at right now with my, with my thought process. So like if you're somebody that wants to do the visual stuff and get really good at that, you know, find one tool that, you know, maybe you see a lot. Like, don't focus so much on, oh my gosh, I have to find the best thing that makes the best thing. If you start with the boring AI stuff and learn how to really prompt and what things to ask ChatGPT or Gemini to get better outputs, you're going to get better prompts for your visuals. You're going to get better ideas for your visuals. You're going to get better product ideas and launching ideas and marketing ideas with those visuals. Everything will literally be better when you know how to use the core piece of what you're working with, which is generally some type of LLM like a ChatGPT or Gemini. And so, yeah, so pick one tool. So if you have been really curious about Midjourney, start on Midjourney, pick their lowest paid plan, and try it out. Don't go buku buying a year or annual thing, or, you know, getting the most expensive monthly plan. Like, start with the lowest tier plan, bump it up if you need to, top off your credits if you need to, play around with it for a couple days, depending on how much free time you have. So a couple days to maybe a couple weeks. And if it's working for you and giving you things you like, don't constantly feel the need to go and fill a void that you don't need to fill. So like an example for me is like, I use Crea to make my cartoon images that you guys see all over social media. And I constantly, every day when I'm doing engagement and posting, I'm seeing people talk about Higgs field, people talk about, you know, open art, people talking about this, that, and the other. And like Higgs field, for example, people market Higgs field very well. And I'm always very extremely curious about Higgs field, even though I've tried it twice and it was not for me. I still want to go back and try it because people market it that well. But, I don't need to go and check it out because I have something currently that works well for me and I don't need to switch. Now, if there's something obviously groundbreaking that comes out, you know, an example would be the AI motion video where people dance and like the AI video moves according to the reference video. I went and got a Kling subscription so that I could do that. But just don't always feel the need to look for the biggest and best tool. If you have things that work for you, be content with that. That is also really good advice so that you don't spend a crap ton of money with AI stuff, which can get expensive. If you know, you know. So that's my advice with what key components are needed to be successful using AI in your business is start with the boring stuff. That doesn't mean you need to go learn coding. You don't need to necessarily learn immediately about apps or even GPTs. Like, really just get to know the basics of like conversational AI, LLMs, what is artificial intelligence, how does it work, and use cases. You know, a really good place to find that too is if you go and watch like a few YouTube videos on, you know, basics of AI, go through the comments. And a lot of people will put in comments like what they're using AI for. So you can actually see use case examples. There's times like when I first started learning how to build GPTs, I love the idea and the concept. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. But like, what the heck do I want to build a GPT for? I had some basics maybe that I would do. But a lot of times when you learn something new, it's cool and you can do it and maybe think of one or two ideas, but you're kind of like, well, wait, how do I apply this? What do I apply this to? And I will go and look through Reddit threads, YouTube comments, and people will share very, very cool stuff on what they actually use GPTs for or AI apps for, or what's worked for them and not worked for them. And just getting into a practice of being observant and kind of keeping notes in your head. Like, oh, I remember this person said this about this tool, and maybe I'll try it if, you know, I want to switch or if I need to switch or whatever. But not being observant and reading all this information and how you're consuming information, not doing it in a way where you feel like you're not using something good enough. Be content with you have if it's working. Obviously still observe and kind of take note of what's going on around you and like what updates are happening, but not with a need to have to get and do it all. Okay. And it's a hard practice. I still fall out of that sometimes, where I feel like there's tools I need to be trying to be like educating my people about and, you know, practicing with and stuff. And I'll get there when I get there. But like right now I have a work stack that works for me. And that is what it is. So that was a big rampage. But that's my advice with somebody wanting to learn AI, and especially if implementing it with their business. Start with the boring stuff, go from there, stick to one tool at a time for each thing that AI can do. So, you know, image generator, video generator, you know, whatever it is, start with one tool and go from there. Do you care to share what that course is that you used, or will you be adding teachings on that as well? Teachings on what exactly, Pamela? I'm sorry. This has been amazing. Thank you. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Who angry reacted and sad reacted? Who did that? I get shiny object syndrome, but I'm sticking to what you are using while I get this learned. It's hard. I still get shiny object syndrome. I still see like prompt faults and things, and like people market really well. Like, guys, this is totally normal to feel like you're being sold to and like want something. Like, we have desires, and if somebody's showing off super cool AI images every single day from their prompt vault, you're gonna be like, dang, maybe I should get their prompt vault. But I'm sitting here like, I know how to prompt and use AI. I don't need to go and buy a prompt vault from somebody. Like, I have a prompt vault myself. Like, it's fine. And also, just like if you're somebody that's like me and you're a nerd for learning, it's so easy to talk myself into learning something, because I'm not buying course after course after course, or, you know, guide after guide after guide to sell it and make sales. I'm doing it genuinely to try to like learn and teach myself a skill, implement that and teach it to my community, but not necessarily through somebody else's product, you know, where I learn the GBTs and prompting. Pamela, if you are in marketing and AI made simple, Mac probably did the angry reaction. Oh, it's because I said Samsung. I'm a Samsung person, and don't suggest a Mac. Somebody didn't like that. Okay. Yes, there will be a replay in the free and paid community. I will drop a link for that in just a second. I'm trying to answer like 5 questions at once, guys. I'm sorry. So, Pamela, if you are in the marketing and AI made simple community, the building GBTs is in the all things AI module in the classroom. Here, I'll show you real quick, but I already cover all that. We already have a class for it. We cover how to make them, how to test them, revise them, how to list them on a sales page, publish it, and how to even market it and how to launch it. But the course I originally learned from with ChatGPT and like basics with LLM is called Prompt to Profit. It is not available anymore to be sold. But it is, all of that material is in a Skool community called AI Rewired. That is Steven's community. And he is very like, he's a lot more tech than I am. And a lot of what I've learned has been from Steven. So, I will drop a link to AI Rewired if anybody wants to join that, but I'm going to show Pamela real quick. If you're looking for the building GBTs, so, okay, you're going to go to the All Things AI module in the classroom, and then it's going to be down here, custom GBTs, bots, and there's a whole class on doing those. So we did have a custom GBT class from like last year. I just redid this and updated it like a month or so ago, and all the GBTs you guys have been seeing me build, I think I took you guys through, I think we built BookedBot. So that's what we built in the GBT class. And yeah. So, there's that. And then I am going to drop a link. This is my affiliate link for AI Rewired. If anybody wants to look into that community, I'm going to put that in the comments. Steven is amazing. I will never, ever stop recommending anything that Steven creates or educates about. He is a very, very good, thorough teacher. So that is in the comments. And then I'm also going to put a link to my free Skool community. Oh, cool. Okay, so no, never mind. Nicole just dropped it in there. That is my free community, so you can keep up with all my tips, tricks. We have free classes in the AI Made Simple community, including how to learn the basics on ChatGPT fundamentals. So like this is in my free Skool community. In the introduction here, how to prompt better, how to build foundation documents for your business, the difference between using GPT's projects in the main chat and business uses for ChatGPT. I teach a lot of visual stuff in here as well, how to build your AI twin, how to build fictional characters that are not real if you want to use that for a faceless page. There's a lot in there, guys. So that's the free community. I also post a lot of marketing and AI tips. There's free prompts in here. So like if you go here and click on free prompts, there are a ton of free visual prompts and ChatGPT business prompts you can use. There's a whole spiel of them, and then we also post like updates and stuff about AI. The sale is ending for both the Business Bot Suite and Marketing and AI Made Simple in 2 days, so they are both under $100 right now to get in. To keep it super simple, Marketing and AI Made Simple is where you get all of my full education and classes on business, marketing, social media, everything basically. There is so much in just like the AI module alone. So like we have so much over here with just the AI module, but we teach everything in here from starting from zero, starting from nothing, starting all the way with your mindset, which we talked about a little bit in the beginning here, going down into basics, your niche, your target audience, business bookkeeping, branding, Canva for beginners, setting up your storefront, SEO, email, all of it. It's all in here. And like we discussed earlier in the video, all of this, when you're in each module, you are going to have a section where we do the teaching, right? So we have the teaching, and then we have mindset in action. So we are doing it together. So you're not only being taught the topic of whatever the module is, but we are actually implementing it with a business, a brand new faceless business that has not been announced. Nobody knows it's me except the people in the community, and y'all keep your mouth shut. But the purpose is so that I can be you guys and start with zero following, nothing, no brand reputation, no rapport, and nothing, to show you guys that what I teach you works. We just launched on social media a couple days ago. We already are up to 12 leads in less than 3 days of being launched on social media. That's pretty amazing. I think we're sitting at around 30 followers on Facebook and Threads right now in a couple days. That is just from posting and engaging. We don't do anything with ads. Anywho, I could rampage about this community all day long because I built this Skool community to really truly be different from all the other communities I've been in. There are great other communities. I'm not saying mine is the best, but this one is built so that you can be taught, you can see it in action. There are homework assignments that we do quarterly raffles for. So if you show up and do the work for your dream in your business, you could get into a raffle to earn something. And we're just active in the community. We're real life human beings with real lives, just wanting to build something of our own and not just resell courses. So anyways, that's Marketing and AI Made Simple. It's $97 one time. If you got through this live from somebody that is not me, please, 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 please message them for their affiliate link and do not buy it from me. My affiliates deserve their flowers while this sale is going on, and always. So I will, if you came here just for me, I'm going to drop my link for Marketing and AI Made Simple. This is a one-time payment. It is no monthly fees or anything like that. You pay once and you are in forever. And then the other thing on sale for 2 days is the Business Bot Suite. There is not any education in here. This is simply where you get all of my GBTs that do specific things for you and your business. And you are able to resell any of the GBTs in here as an affiliate, or you can just resell the whole bot suite as an affiliate. So this is normally $247 to get in. It is a one-time $97 to get in. We currently have 13 GBTs right here that can be used, and I have a whole list of more that I'm building. If you're somebody watching this that's already in the bot suite, you already know how lit it is in there. Like there's really good stuff in there. Like my bots are very thorough. and very helpful. So I'm going to drop a link for that as well. But I do have a list. So if you go on my store link, which that'll be the last link I drop in here, but I'm going to drop a link for the business bot suite. And I do have any individual bot. So like if you, let's say, want to get the group whisperer, which is what we talked about earlier, but you don't really need any of the other bots, you can purchase bots on their own. But if you see multiple that you're interested in getting, you just probably need to go ahead and get the business bot suite. So I dropped a link for the business bot suite, and that also has a list of all the current bots in there so you can see what type of tools are in there. And if you just want to see the individual bots to see if there's just one or a couple you want, the link for my store is in there, and a lot of them are still half off. So you can go and grab those if you need them. But I think that's everything, guys. So I think, yeah, everything is in there. If you need access to my free community, that is AI Made Simple in Skool, there will be a replay of this up for everybody. And while I have you guys, if anybody needs to message me, please, 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 please message me over in Skool. Facebook Messenger has not been my friend for the past few weeks now. So please message me over on Skool. It is the easiest place right now to get a hold of me. And I will see you guys very shortly. Y'all have a kick butt week. Bye.